At the time of the Buddha, there was a young woman, a young married woman named Kisa Gotami. And she had some problems. She had some issues going on in her life. The main problem was that she couldn't conceive. She couldn't have a child. And at that time, not being able to have a child was grounds for your husband to let you go, was grounds for in-laws not to be too happy for you and all this kind of stuff. So when she finally did have a child, this was just her pride and joy, this child of hers. And we don't know how old the child was, maybe an infant or a toddler, but the story goes that this child died. And of course, this all of her hopes and her pride and her pleasure was tied into this child, and she just couldn't accept it. Now, at the time of the Buddha, there was various wandering ascetics and gurus and teachers, and some of them were said to be able to do all kinds of crazy, wild things. And so she got in her head that somebody will be able to save her son. And at that time, there was nobody who had a better reputation than the Buddha, as somebody who was this self-awakened being. So she went to the Buddha, and she asked the Buddha, "Can you save my son?" And the Buddha said, "Yeah, I can save your son." Is this the sound off or? Oh, okay. I'm hearing some reverb. Okay, so yeah, the Buddha said, "Yes, I can save your son. I want you to go in this town, knock on doors, and bring me back a mustard seed." And a mustard seed was one of the most common spices of that day. Everybody had a mustard seed. But he gave a caveat. He says, you have to get it from a house where nobody has died. And of course she was very determined. This little caveat was not going to stop her. So she went out and she started knocking on doors. "Do you have a mustard seed?" "Yes." "Oh, thank you." "Oh, I forgot. Did anybody die in this house?" "Yes, my mother, my aunt, my uncle." And so as she's going through the town, knocking on every door, she was determined not to let one door go unknocked, just in case. As she was going through that, it started to dawn on her as she started to lose hope. Wow, I can't find one place. And so finally, at the last house, the last door, nope, this was a place where somebody also had died. And so she went back to the Buddha. She had lost all hope. But a seed was planted in her from this exercise that the Buddha had her go through. She began to understand, she began to open up. And when the Buddha said, "Just so, Kisa Gotami, all beings that are born are subject to die. And we don't know the time or the place or how long we have to live, but all beings are subject to die." And so the story goes that at that point, Kisa Gotami understood, and eventually she became a bhikkhuni, a female monastic, and she actually became an arahant later on. She was an awakened being. So I want you guys to do me a favor. If you have experienced the loss of a family member, friend, anybody close to you, raise your hand. Do I see some people without hand raising? Can I talk to you after? I have questions. Wow, see? Kisa Gotami would have a hard time. She wouldn't find any mustard seeds with us either, would she? No? Because this is samsara. This is life. Welcome to the club.